What up, y'all? I'm an addict named Austin. I got clean here at Serenity House in Abilene, Texas, October 19th, 2014. Just wanted to hop on here and read the Just for Today with y'all. November 21st, letting our defects go. If character defects contributed to our health and happiness, we would not have come to such a state of desperation. Getting started on the 6th and 7th step isn't always easy. We may feel as though we have so much wrong with us that we are totally defective. We might feel like hiding under a rock. Under no circumstance would we want our fellow addicts to know about our inadequacies. We will probably go through a time of examining everything we say and do in order to identify our character defects and make sure we suppress them. We may look back at one particular day, cringing at what we're certain is the most embarrassing thing we've ever said. We become determined to be rid of these horrible traits at all costs. But nowhere in the 6th or 7th step does it say we can learn to control our defects of character. In fact, the more attention we focus on them, the more firmly entrenched they will become in our lives. It takes humility to recognize that we can't control our defects any more than we can control our addiction. We can't remove our own defects. We can only ask a loving God to remove them. Letting go of something painful can be as difficult as letting go of something pleasant. But let's face it, holding on is a lot of work. When we really think about what we're holding on to, the effort just isn't worthwhile. It's time to let go of our character defects and ask God to remove them. Just for today, I'm ready to have my defects removed. I will let go and allow a loving higher power to care for me. I really think that an important part of this process for me and for most people, the step working process, is I need to I need to define some words that I've misinformed myself with for a couple of decades, right? So I get in here, I start looking up, I print out a list of these character defects, I start looking up what they mean, only to find out I know about what half of them mean, and the other half I either don't know what they mean at all, or I was completely wrong about what they meant, right? Like, for example, hypocrite. I used to think that other people were hypocrites, and then I found out that it meant somebody that says one thing and does another, and I was like, well, I struggle with that. And so I think getting the information, the correct information first, is an important part of this process. I need to define these defects, find out what they mean, so I can find out if I'm struggling with them or not. And a lot of times in this step working process, through all the steps, when I'm able to define the problem, it makes the solution a lot easier to get to, right? And like a good addict, I know that after I defined all the character defects and I listed the ones that I was struggling with, I started trying to suppress them. And at the time, I was new in recovery, and one of my friends was like explaining it to me that ultimately it's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. At some point, they're all coming to the top. And so I need to learn to accept them and count on a higher power to help me get rid of them. And I know that sounds like really holier than thou, like being healed, laid hands on or something like that, but it wasn't like that for me. Like I said, a big part of it was just finding out what they mean and that I struggle with them, and then acceptance and surrender, right? And when I ask God to help me, usually what that looks like is when I'm doing something I've been doing for a long time and I want a different result, there would be like this impression on my heart. If you don't want the same results, if you don't want to end up in that argument with that person about the same thing, stop talking right now. It was some simple things. You know, there were some other things I struggled with. I wanted to, when I got rid of the drugs, like I wanted to use women to make myself feel better, right? And I was having these struggles, and my sponsor was like, if you find yourself alone in a room with a woman, leave the room. And that was like rocket science to me. There were some simple things I could do to get free from some of the problems I was having. And then there were some times when I needed to accept them, surrender, and ask God to help me remove them. I can tell you that 10 years later, I am doing some surgery and still getting help to remove some of these defects, because I don't know about you, but I could act right and follow a set of principles written so simply, and I could stay away from the situations that cause me problems. But at the place I'm at right now, I really want to get help. I want to get some freedom from the root cause of those things. And so I'm really trying to surrender and let go of some of these defects and get some help with them, right? there's defects that I can ask God to remove, and sometimes there's some outside help we might need, right? And so I'm going through a process right now because I don't like the way that I act all the time, right? And I've been in a safe place for a long time now and set some of those things to the side, and now I'm ready to address them. And I think that's something that happens in the 6th and 7th step. We get to, in the beginning, I just needed to learn how to live, right? And so I knew that I didn't need to act out on these defects of character. I would stay away from those situations, those things, and that's always good. And so I was able to get some freedom from myself, where I was able to give other people freedom in the beginning. Now I'm trying to get freedom from self, right? And so I am grateful for this program. I have some self-awareness today. I have other people helping me become aware of some things, and so I can get some freedom. Thank God for the step working process. I hope this helped. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope you have a good day, and we will talk to you tomorrow.